Sure. Live.
We live, baby.
All right.
Not like being live.
Okay, and we are going to make sure that we are on our best manners while we live as well.
Best behavior.
What best?
Okay, while we give everybody a chance to come in, I hope you all have had an opportunity to share it. Give me one moment as I get ready to share it as well. But while I am doing that, would you all mind introducing yourselves? We'll start with the oldest.
Wow. Well.
Be.
Ram, I'm older than you. Oh, yeah, Ram.
Yeah, you older than me.
Baby.
Come on, man. You know you are.
Hey, well, listen, man. Hey, Kevin Gaines, man. Father of 6, big baby. Talk to me.
Next.
Ward Jenkins, father of 0.
But mentor many.
There you go. Yes, that's the way. Yes, we're gonna do that.
Good yard.
Dante Jackson, father of 3, married 11 years. Figured it out day by day.
Wow, I like the way you put that. All right.
Yeah, Ramson Jones, father of 4, 3 boys, 1 baby girl. That's it.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
My dude.
All right. I love that. So, Anwar, we're going to get back to you, though, in a second. But let me ask you all this as we welcome everybody to the show. For those of you that are fathers, what did you think fatherhood would be?
What was that?
What did you think fatherhood would actually be? Like, how did you really think that fatherhood would be? So what expectations did you have of fatherhood, and what is it really like for you?
Man, honestly, I didn't know what fatherhood would be like, man.
Yeah,
it was, it ain't no manual to this when you're doing it, so you learn as you go. Of course you expect it to be peachy, but that ain't what it is, man. It's a lot of struggles, but it teaches you, you learn. That's how I became so mature, in my opinion, from raising these boys and this little girl, because, it's different out here, man. It's rough compared to how my parents came up, at least, so, but, I learned a lot coming up, man. It was rough, but, I maintained and sustained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I think fatherhood really didn't know because my mama was the father. So it was like, but it was always somebody else's house I was looking into. And even if it was on TV, I was crazy about Bill Cosby.
But that ain't what it is, man.
So, Bill Cosby, where it might be, I look at Ward Pops, how he was looking, how he had Ward. So, Latch Daddy, anybody who I was like, man, it's a man in the house. He got all them kids, or just one, however he operated. And if I thought he was positive, I tried to, how you take somebody's game off the court and put it in yours. That's how I was trying to do mine. Right. But it was you never knew. It was step by step.
Yeah, same way with like Ransom and Bruh, like it's no real manual, and growing up without a father, not really having that father figure besides like somebody like my uncle, who was probably the most father figure I ever had in my life, trying to emulate him. And the main thing I knew as having kids, that I wanted to be there. Like I know, like the toughest part growing up at times is like seeing other people with their fathers and things of that nature, and you trying to figure out why yours ain't around. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, I didn't want my kids ever to have to think about why I wasn't around. The only reason I wouldn't be around because it had to do something with feeding them and making sure I was clothing them and supporting them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow. It's interesting that you all said that, especially considering your line of work, Tay. Anwar, this is like where you will kick in and you guys can answer this once he gets finished, because Anwar represents the men that are father figures. He doesn't have biological children, but he still plays such an important role in our society. So as Black men, do you all feel, and Anwar, I want you to start this one off, do you all feel as if it is your responsibility to step in and be that father figure for young men, and even some young and young women as well, be that father figure knowing that their father is not around?
I think like that's what kind of got me into the whole thing of mentoring and different things of that nature. It was never just a conscious thing. It was like coaching kids and then taking for granted, because I had a father. I don't know if I like, you know what I mean? I was pretty much like, I'm the opposite of everybody else. My dad raised me as a single father or whatever. So I had a father that was there for me. So when I started coaching and seeing like that, even like kids would go without, like I'd be like, no, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then you kind of just get sucked into these kids' life, and then it start to be responsible for them. You know what I mean? Just it's not something that you just sit down and one day and say like, I'll be watching TV and you see people like they adopted a kid, like, oh, they love them, but like the kids is grown you like that, like you just be responsible for them, like. And so I don't know, it's just something that kind of just clicked into me, like when I was just working with kids and just realizing that they didn't have that. And so then all of a sudden I looked up, I have to go to parent teacher conference, I have to discipline, I have to talk to the mom and see why these kids ain't doing that, you know what I mean? And just being a part of them and just realizing that, wow, this is a real job. Like, so it just came on me, like it was just put upon me, like it was never like something that I sat down consciously and just been like, oh, I want to do this.
You were just, you were groomed into it. Ransom, what about you, especially being a dad of 3 young men and a lady? Have you ever felt the responsibility to step in? Because sometimes I believe all of us, quite a few of us have had those instances where you knew people in your family that grew up in homes, and a lot of us are products of that, not having dads, but feeling this need, especially as Black men.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, you know, from my son's friends, things like that, and all of my nephews, none of their fathers are around, you know, so I was Uncle Ram, you know, they always came to talk to me about everything, you know, so I understand, you know, my dad was around, but he was around part-time, you know what I mean? So as I got older, I realized how much these kids needed people to talk to. They needed somebody to listen, you know, they needed somebody that guided them. So my nephews always came to me, pretty much like any kids on the block always came to me. So I felt like it was always important to be there for those kids, man. You know, they needed somebody. I understood that, you know, by me having 3 boys and having a baby girl, you know, well, baby girl is only 5. She's only 6 years old. But the boys, they bring their friends around. They're all different ages, and I see that, you know, the position that they're in, the way that they think sometimes. I'm like, you know, you would expect them to say and do different things. They just don't have that guidance to tell them, to teach them. So I always stepped in for that. They call me all the time. They come and sit around. They want to have somebody to talk to. So I'm always there for that. You know, I've always been there for that. I love that, actually. You know, that's where it's at.
That's amazing to hear. I'm gonna just tell you this: if anybody is watching it like on their phone, just make sure your volume is down if you're watching the stream like from your phone as well, because otherwise we will get feedback from when you all speak. I love to hear that. Y'all know, with all that is going on in our society, it's a hit out, especially, you know, with Black men. And Kevin, I just want you to let me ask you all this: like, how would y'all define fatherhood? And Anwar, you can answer from the perspective of what your dad showed you and how you're showing it to other young people. But Dante, can you start with that one? How would you define fatherhood?
When I look at fatherhood, I just look at it's the process of growing your child into an adult. You know, and you're looking at growing your child from every phase of life. You know, they go from, you know, the baby years to the adolescent years to the teenage years to young adult. And, you know, with fatherhood, it never stops. You know, it's going to be something that's an ongoing process. Like, we're going to be there, no matter what. So when you 25 and got a problem, you got me. Whether you 50 and got a problem, you got me. Whatever the case may be. So it's just an ongoing process of teaching and learning. And just even as fathers, you still teaching and learning. And, you know, the one thing about it is, I tell people all the time, you know, even with being a coach, it's like parenting is different for every person. You know, one thing I may do for one person, for one of my kids, I may not be able to do for the other one. And, you know, it's just an ongoing process of just teaching and learning to me with fatherhood.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Tay, you said no matter what, when they turn 23 and 25 and all, hey, that's the roughest time, because really sometimes you think they're supposed to get it by then, but that's almost the most important time too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Man, we make so many mistakes going into that adulthood just by shutting out everybody else.
yeah.
And we really need that help.
Yeah. And you know, I think that's when they start getting to those, you know, that young adult age, that's when they kind of want to turn you off. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I kind of know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And, you know, I know even with my mom, you know, she was telling me stuff as I was growing up, and you sit here thinking you know it all and you got this in the bag. But then at the end of the day, it's like, damn, mom's already told me this was about to happen. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the one teacher of life is experience. And, you know, as a parent, you already have those experiences. So it's like everything, like I tell my kids, man, everything y'all trying to do, I did it and did it better. So,
But you know what though? Like
that's one thing I agree to a point, but I kind of disagree now, because I think with our parents, we kind of grew up in a time where the moral values and everything was the same as our parents. Now our kids are growing up in a time where the moral values are so different, and they growing up in chaos. So you like, yeah, I've been through it, and you really trying to teach them how to navigate through it, but it's really nonsense. And a lot of times that you trying to tell them the right way to do something, they really like, that's the right, that don't sound like how everything going right now. So we have to be kind of mindful of that the times are different. And I don't want to be like the one that say, oh, the times are so different, but man, it's just a different time, man. Like when you would tell your son 20 years from when we was in high school with somebody, if they had a disagreement, you tell them to go outside and fight head up. You can't do that no more. Like, nah, I ain't on my side to fight.
Right.
No, that's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the same. People don't have the same moral values, and the people don't put the same, like, just the whole thing on life. Like the value of life right now is so diminished. You know what I mean? So it's tough. So you know you have to treat it like it's precious, and you know just watch over it now, because it's not the same. So
no, it's not. It's not at all. Hey, Tay said something. We get so stuck and mad at them because we feel like they're supposed to get it right at this point. And I think as a parent, is really sitting back like, let me make sure I don't fall too far away from them. Because we'll get. I'm just gonna use myself. I get so upset. Like, you're supposed to know this right now. Really, he don't get it. And it's like, really, Kevin, shut up, stop, listen.
Right.
Because he really or she really needs you at this point in time. So it's like, we as parents, and I'm learning this, we as parents got to stop and humble and shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because they, like what Ward said, they're in a whole different environment almost for them.
Yeah.
And when we feel it's supposed to just be boom, 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 and we probably right in the majority of the time, but trying to convince that to them is we got to go a whole different way. I remember Pete said when he used to snatch us up, he said, I can't do that to kids now. They can't prosper.
You can't touch nobody now.
You can't touch nobody.
Keep your hands to yourself. You can't touch nobody no more, bro.
Right. So, and just asking why instead of, we was like, when parents told us to do what we do this, it ain't no why. We got to really explain it to them.
But you know why that was effective so much more than that, why it was so much stronger coming from our parents?
Because of the morals.
Because the moral value and the fact that they set an example for you. So when you saying why, like, you done seen me do this, that's why. I don't have to tell you why, because you see me do this day in, day out. Like, I done seen you done seen me get up. You done seen me provide for you. You done seen me do the things for you. So that's why. The why was in the way that they were treating us. See, now the kids are asking why, because the parents not taking care of them. You get what I'm saying? So now that's why. That's where the why is. The why. The why, because you was smoking weed over there with your friends the other day, and you was doing whatever you was doing. So now it's why, because now that you get what I'm saying. The why was when we were saying why, it was coming from a place of they like what? Why?
Right.
Did you just see what you know what I mean? You see me?
Right.
So I think that that was more of the thing, and I know just me personally, I might sound like a bitter baby mama. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, because I done took care of so many people. I done took care of so many people kids, and I can't understand the fact that people don't be in their kids' life. Like that just throws me to the flow, man. Like, and they be having some special kids that like I know this one person, I ain't gonna say their name, but their child was like a split image of them. He played basketball for me for 6 years, 7th grade until he graduated. And his mother was trying, man. His mother worked so hard for him and pushed him and everything. Like his dad was never around. So one day I was at Potawatomi and I see this dude. He like, yeah, man, my son played basketball.
Yeah.
I said, your son? Who is your son?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my son is what I said. He played for me. Like, where you been, bro?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I be going to the games. I be like, no, I done bought him jeans. I know you haven't been there with him. Like, you know what I mean? I can't even look at you the same plan. Because, you know, my grandmother taught me something a long time ago. She said, anything you love, you're going to take care of. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. You love it, you're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And that's to the end. So if you don't make sure that child eat every day or whatever, man, I don't really respect it.
Right.
But you know, it's funny, man, you know, that you say that. Like I tell people a lot of times, man, you know, it's hard to really trust people who don't take care of their kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I tell people all the time, you know, people like that's like the biggest form of, you know, like who you are as a person to me. You know, it's just your DNA and your build. You know, I ain't saying that, you know, everybody got to be, you know, in the house or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you have to provide, support, and nurture. Like that is like those like the most important things to me, man. Like provide, support, and nurture. Because at the end of the day, man, like it's not always the fact that a kid needs something material. It's not always the fact that a kid needs something. Sometimes, man, it might just be that nurturing hug.
Right.
It might just be that time, man. We just need to sit down and talk. You know, it might be that time that we need to need to laugh. Say it again, bro.
I said, just sit down.
Yeah.
Just sit down.
I just went through that, man. It's funny y'all saying all of this. Like I experienced this like a week ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I realized my son was just looking different, and I was sitting at work one day, and I was like, you know, I need to talk to him. When I got home, I said, man, come down and talk to me right quick. And we smoothed a lot of things out. And by the time we got done, man, you know, it was a whole different understanding. You know, I didn't realize that he was stressing, going through some things that I may have gone through at the age of 22. You know, because I had my son when I was still at Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? I was a baby with a baby. You know what I'm saying? So now he's 22 years old. And I had to sit back and think about it, man. Like at 22, did I have it together? Not at all. You know, not even close. You know what I'm saying? So I had to sit down and talk to him and give him some game and understand where he's coming from. Because back then, I swear I thought I knew it all. You know what I'm saying? But I was so off. You know what I'm saying? Like, far off. So, you know, just being in this life, man, and seeing brothers like y'all and y'all kids' life, man, that's amazing. Like, that's very much needed right now. You know, these kids are fragile, man. Kids is, I mean, he is raising these kids, man, in real life.
Right.
Could you imagine? I couldn't imagine being next to you and you not taking care of your kids.
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm seeing you every day.
A lot of time.
But you know, it's different.
Bro, it's some people. It's some. Oh, go ahead, Ty.
Man, I was about to say, man, it's different, man, because I guess, like, man, like we grew up with kind of knowing each other for a long period of time, and you know, like different relationships that we formed that was different, man. So like a lot of stuff we did, man, like we was accountable to each other, whether it was your word, like, bro, like you said you was gonna do this, so you gonna do it. Like, you know, it was always like, this is what you said. So like to see, you know, somebody not doing something, you already pulled their coattail. Like, bro, why is you not doing this? What is you really on?
Right.
Man, it's been people I go to the barbershop with. I've been going to the barbershop with them for 10 years, see them at the barbershop, and then they come up with a kid that's big as me. I'm like, dog, when did your child get his haircut? You ain't never took him to get his haircut? Like, where does child come from, man? Like, how dare you be up here doing all this other stuff and not have your child with you, bro?
Right. Right.
Hey, but you know what? I'm one of them cats that don't bring my kids to the barbershop all the time. You know why? Because I cut their hair. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yeah, that's real.
I understand what you're saying, though. I have brought them around. Y'all have seen them, but I cut their hair. And they'll tell me, like, I don't want them to cut my hair. I want you to cut my hair.
Right.
That's why I cut it. But you make a good point.
And that's what you're supposed to do anyway. That's what you're supposed to do.
Indeed.
That's your time.
That's your bonding time.
Yes, indeed.
That's your bonding time.
And I get to mess up a few lines until I get it.
You guys, I love how y'all conversation is going. Let me just say this real quick. I didn't get a chance early on because we just jumped right in. I do want to acknowledge everyone that is watching with us. If you have questions for the men, we have 3 segments tonight. And I'm just so honored that you all have taken this time to come on, because I know that all of you all are busy. But some of our followers may have questions, and I just saw a question come up. Do fathers hold each other accountable about caring for their own children? So like within y'all group, do you hold each other accountable? And I'm gonna add something else to that. When you know that you're struggling as a father, do you reach out to your friends that are fathers as well?
Hey, listen.
Well,
go ahead, Ward.
Go ahead.
Well,
I think that's one of the best things about my friends in my circle, because I grew up in a family where my aunties and uncles and stuff, and when their kids mess up, they wouldn't tell the rest of the family. It was quiet. Like, no, don't tell them what's the name went to jail. Like, no, it's supposed to be out in the open so everybody can talk about it and bring it to the table so we can help it out. And I'm glad that my friends ain't like that. Like, my friends and the family I have now, like, if something happened, we're going to talk about it and we can all figure it out together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't nobody looking down on nobody, because everybody get in trouble. You know what I mean? So we just go from there.
Hey, what's so crazy is that, listen, as long as everybody been doing Ward around me, I say, hey, don't you ever call Ward my friend. That's my brother.
No doubt.
So listen, when it's time for, he be like, hey man, what is going on with you and this boy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I need to know. I'm concerned. What's happening? And then he's like, oh no, bro, you wrong. You wrong. And you really, really need it. And then I may say my reason why. And at the end of the day, he'd be like, nah, bro, you still wrong.
Right.
And then it'd be like, hey, listen to this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I run across Ransom. And at one of the kids' games. And it's like, he one brother I don't even got to see every day. Mm-hmm. But listen, you can feel the affection that a man has for his kids. And and as much as me and him used to be in the basement, listen, we sit there and tell each other what we going through, and it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, but it's and it's funny you say that, and that was a question, but it's an old African proverb that say it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And I just really think that, man, if, the people that you really surround yourself close and that you hold tight, and them are the people you really got to confide in, because it's bigger than just you, your family. It's about trying to make sure that you get that child right, because we want all our kids to be productive people in society. It ain't about, who gonna make the NBA, who gonna do this, who gonna do that. The most important thing we can do is produce doctors, lawyers, the right police officers, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, like Tori, you asked earlier, what do fatherhood mean? I didn't answer it, but to me, it means accountability. You know what I mean? And responsibility. Those are the two things that it means to me. You know what I mean? Accountability and responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
you know what I mean? Now, one thing I realized though, man, me coming up personally, being from the South, I had my mama, I had my daddy, my uncle, my grandmama, my great grandmama, big mama. That's what a lot of people is lacking right now, fam. Like, for real, ain't no structure, ain't no guidance, ain't nobody whipping no butts. You know what I'm saying? Right, they tell you what the kids ain't gonna do, but that's what they doing. They ain't doing that to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference though in real life, man. You know,
Right.
I got a couple nephews that went to jail, man. You know, of course they hit me with the jail talk at one point, but they told me like, man, I wish you would have been harder on me. I wish you would have whooped me.
Right.
I wish this, that, and the
Right.
third. It's important, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That they're gonna call the police. Give them a reason to. You got to get in them. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna appreciate it later on, man. Trust me.
Yeah. That
Right.
discipline. I love that you said that, Omar, accountability and responsibility. And you all said it early on that, you know, this, and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Children don't come with a manual. We learn as we go. And I think that men and women, it's important for us to have these conversations because you all come from a completely different angle than us.
Right.
Completely different angle. And there's a different, Kevin used to always say, "Play, you'll never understand because I'm a man." The weight that it is on you all.
Right.
And to try to bring in race, and the girls need their dads just as much as the young men need their dads.
More.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's a concern for me, you know, in our society. And you said it, Dante. Everybody's not going to go to the NBA. We need black men to be in these schools teaching because those little boys need to see y'all.
Right.
They should just be seeing the correction officer like Kevin. He's dealing with all the young men that didn't listen, that's out there joyriding in Milwaukee, committing all types of crimes. So he's seeing them. We need more men. I'm serious, especially men of color, to consider going into education. And I'm talking about elementary school. Y'all can't wait for this high school because everybody's not playing AAU ball and being able to grow up with a P.
Right.
You know, to put all of that in you all for those that didn't have dads. So
it's just a rough time they grow up in because I mean we grow up in this time right now where I deal with so many kids that's with single moms, man, and you know what I mean, and you got to understand, man, these single moms are these boys' hero. You know what I mean? Like that woman is their hero. That's why they emulate them here, they mama. That's why they have feminine ways. Why they like their mama. That's why they act like that because that's their hero right now.
That's all they
you know what I'm saying? We got to make the man back their hero. You know what I mean?
Indeed. I'm glad you said that.
And it's so many different things. Like people say, well, back in the day, when people were grown when they were 14, the society is raising people in a different manner. You know what I mean? It's a different manner. Like, you know, like I'm going to say like in our counterparts, like white people, their kids get to make mistakes at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then figure it out at 26, go back to school, then take over a business that their parents have for them. Our kids make a mistake at 17 and they in jail to the 30.
Yeah.
So, same mistake, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's the systemic racism that people need to really address, you know what I mean? That our kids ain't even allowed to develop like our counterparts' kids, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that go in there. So the black man has to come back and stand firmly and be the black man, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's you know, we're doing a pity party where everything is on the black man's shoulder, but it's supposed to, you know what I mean? So we got to step up.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right. We can't be scared to say we need help.
Yeah.
I can't be scared to call. Matter of fact, I can't be scared to call up on my sister if I need my sister. But we cannot be scared to call up on our brothers, man.
That's a part of leadership.
And it may come from a brother from that you didn't even expect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like outside of this circle. So you know.
Yes. I'm glad that you said that. Pete, we all of us, men and women alike, we have to expand our circles.
Right.
Because otherwise you'll deplete the people that's in that small circle. I mean, it's great to have that core, but it's too many phenomenal people in this world for us to have to keep recycling the same folks over and over again.
And it's just like a running toilet at your house. Like if everybody live in the house and the toilet is running and we know how to rig it, everybody in the house is gonna rig it. But when somebody new come over to the house and the toilet running, they're gonna fix it. Because they ain't used to that problem. You get what I'm saying? And that's why we need to get other people in our life. Because you bring the new people in your life, they gonna fix the stuff that your friends been rigging because they know you so long. Well, just do this, bros. You gonna be straight, bro. I might been rigging bros for so long. Somebody else gonna come in and fix him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we need. That's why we need new people in our life.
And that's why you got to continue to expand your circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. Let me tell y'all this. I'm grateful for you all. I purposely wanted y'all to go first. I didn't want Kevin to be too nervous waiting into the third segment. I told him I was gonna get him, but I wanted to showcase some men that I grew up with. For those of you that are watching, we all graduated from Hamilton High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee has some great men and women that have gone to do great things. Tay is the head coach of Grambling University. So that means Tay is always around young men. Kevin working in the correctional facility. Anwar is a jack of all trades. I don't even know what title they give you, Anwar.
I do sports management.
Sports management. So he's still dealing with our young people in Ransom. I don't want to make anything up, but I know that. Are you still doing the credit repair?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's
so. When you all, we're going to get ready to do a switch with our second group that is going to come in. I know we have Black, Tyrone, John, if he comes on, but I just want to thank you for coming in and getting our conversation going when you all log off, because here's my thing. You all mentioned community, right? And for those that are watching, again, I'm encouraging you all to expand your circle, but put your information, especially yours, Ransom, since you're offering a service. If you can just type in the comments when you go off, if somebody wants to reach you in regards to that. Yeah, same for the rest of you all. Because y'all have some great leads and make some people watching from Milwaukee. They may not, some women and even some men may not know how to get their children started in sports and even what to look out for. So I love for you guys to be able to do that. Before y'all get off, as we get ready to get everybody else in, I'm gonna start with you, Ransom. Tell us something that you're grateful for, and I want to tell you a happy Father's Day as well.
I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Still being around to be around my children, man. I love my kids to death. You know, like we were speaking on these boys, man. My daughter is like, I'm tighter with her than I am with my boys. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm grateful for, to be able to provide, to have my health, you know, still have my 95-year-old grandmother around to tighten me up when I you know what I'm saying? Hey, what more can you ask for, man? And having these type of brothers that I see around, you know, here and there, man, they always show me love when I see them, man. That's what's up.
Love, bro.
Yeah, I'm thankful for all my friends and everything, and just to be around, man, and enjoy, man. So thankful for family, because you know when people friends for so long, they become family. But can I tell a quick story, just a little bit, man, just about Ransom? Like I talk to a lot of kids when they get into 9th grade, man, and I start telling them, when you get into high school, you know, your character starts to develop where people will remember what you are for the rest of your life. I mean, if you start stealing stuff in 9th grade and 8th grade, people will see you 20 years later and think that you're a thief. And I always say, it won't leave you. And I always use you as the other opposite. I said, now if you totally 100, like I remember this dude named Ransom, man. He was always calm, always 100, like never on no bull. And to this day, I'm always going to think that he's that person. You know what I mean? His character's gonna lie. So man, you're one of the people that I always use in my speeches, man. So you know what I mean? It's much love, man. You meant a lot to me growing up, bro.
100, bro. 100.
Yeah.
No. Hey, that means a lot, man. I know I already had my chance to talk, but that means a lot.
No, you good. You good. I know it's like a reunion for you all as well, and everybody is enjoying listening to what you all have to say. All right.
All
right, y'all, man. Don't let it be too long before we get back together.
Hey, man, yo, this ain't no reunion.
Go ahead.
No, this ain't no reunion. Shoot. We see each other on the regular and talk. I promise you, Ward just said, hey, don't you let it be 15 days and I ain't heard from you.
Yeah.
He got right on me, Ty.
Hey, man, that's real.
But listen, man, I'm thankful just for life. I was listening to that guy, TK Kirkland. He was like, man, people is so, he said, our life is short. You know what I'm saying? But I want to do everything I can possibly do to extend my life as much as I'm supposed to. So when I wake up early in the morning, I'll be like, man, thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful. I'm not angry. You know what I'm saying? So I want to inspire. I just want to be like, hey, man, whatever I can do to help. Just to get up and be free.
Yeah.
Life is so simple in it. And you hear the nonsense through this president. Man, if you don't sit back and just say, hey, I have my peace of mind, you have your family, I can speak to one of you, my brothers and sisters, man, just to hear the birds early. Right now, it's bright outside, man. And it feels so good. You know what I'm saying? So throughout everything, you got to find a little bit of peace to just keep your sanity. So I'm thankful that God gave me a good enough mind. Be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Man,
you got people around you who care. My fault.
no doubt. That's all good, man. I'm just thankful, man, and grateful,
We
man.
can't hear you, bro.
Family. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, I'm just thankful for my family, my friends.
I can hear him. I can hear him.
You can hear me now, Lord?
It's your phone, Ward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, no, but like I said, man, I'm just grateful, man, and thankful for my family, man, my friends, man. I'm just thankful to have a great wife that's walking this partnership with me, man. This life partnership, man. It ain't easy, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially in my situation, man. You travel a lot. You you do a lot of raising other people's kids, man. And sometimes, you're away from home a lot. And just having a strong, Black woman, man, that's here to support me and then even push me to my goals. And then more importantly, man, just help me get back to me sometimes. So even with this whole COVID situation, man, like being able to be home and not be on the road and just really spend a lot of great time with my family has just been a blessing. So, it's like, at times, man, it's a lot of stuff going on, but sometimes you got to look at the simplistic stuff for that. At the end of the day, man, like what's really important. And you got to find the stuff that's important to you, man. And, for me, it always boils down to family. And even when I say family, man, extended family, like even like everybody that's on this call is really like family to me. When people know your history, you know what I'm saying? You can go back and be like, man, I remember this in the 3rd grade. I remember this in the 10th grade. I remember this, man. And then, it's just being able to have people that help you stay accountable, help you stay responsible, and help you aspire to push and inspire.
I want to tell you all thank you again. Happy Father's Day. It is great seeing all of you and that you all are in good health. And I just want y'all to know that my prayers are with you all to please be safe out there and continue being a light in our community, not just to your children, but to others as well. So I hope that y'all don't completely leave. I know that y'all may be busy doing other things, but continue to watch the show. We have two more segments. We have some other gentlemen coming on. They're getting ready to split you all. So as you all head off, I just want to tell y'all thanks a lot. Okay, so we're getting ready for our second group of gentlemen to come in. Thank you for joining us, Ty, Mr. RETV himself. Okay, look, we're gonna start with Black. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
What's going on?
All good.
Okay. I just want to see who in the house, see how we're doing. Hi, Toya. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Black?
All right. I just want to, first of all, I want to give blessings of peace, wisdom, health, and wealth to everybody on this show and who's watching. And I like to give something first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Okay.
My real name is Mandrell Blackman. I'm a father of 2 children, a son, Jordan, 17, and a daughter, Micah, who's 12. My wife, 20 years, Dana. I'm just excited. But more importantly, I've been a father figure to hundreds, I would even say thousands of kids. I've been a football coach in high school. I've been a school teacher for over 20 years, a school principal. So I've been able to mentor and work with a lot of kids that I'm just so proud to acknowledge. So that's me.
Wow. My brother that's in Texas. Well, it's 2 of you all in Texas. I'm gonna go with the older one that's not wearing the hat on his head.
That what's going on?
Lamont.
Yeah. I was trying to hesitate.
We don't have time.
What's up, everybody? My name's Lamont.
All right.
Father of 4, and a goddaughter, and I've been involved in A lot of kids' lives, mainly youth, working hard and waking up every day to do it all over again.
All right. Mr. RETV.
Good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning. Because you never know who people watching from.
That's true.
That's why I do that. I say my name is Ty or Tyron. I can't say I'm a native of North Carolina, but that's where I currently live. DMV native. Been living in North Carolina currently for the past some odd good years. I am a father of four. Yeah, I always have to count. It's like a lot. Like, well, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I was trying to catch up with Toya, but no, I'm not. I'll stick down here with, no, I'm not. I don't need no more kids. But yeah, I got a blended family, so it's quite a bit of us. So, and with the beautiful wife.
Okay, so I really thought that you would have said something, but I'm going to tell everybody since you didn't say it, and I'm going to talk crazy while I do it. This is the gentleman that is behind the show that we are doing tonight. He is the proud owner of the Black-owned RETV network. And for those that are watching, if you have not already liked their page on Facebook, you can follow them at RETV. Please like, please share. He's also on YouTube. He and his lovely wife are on YouTube under Relationship Entertainment Television, and you can find them on Instagram, relationship_entertainment_television as well. And I'm sure the information is at the bottom of the ticker, but I want everybody that can please support this platform, because this is how we're able to bring these wonderful conversations to you. So I just want to make sure I plug that for you, Ty. Thought you was going to say it.
I appreciate it. But last time I did that, you cussed me out because I took the spotlight on your show to plug the network.
I never do that. But okay, we're going to have to go back and watch that because I don't recall.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. I think our officer might be the youngest. So I'm going to let you go last. My gentleman with the black hat on. Let's make sure we can hear you, John. We can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, while he's getting it together, Tyrone, well, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Let everybody know who it is.
Yes.
You do a great job of introducing people. You're a great MC, so go ahead and introduce John properly.
You know what, Black?
I know this ain't my show, but I'm taking over right now.
You wouldn't be you if you didn't. But I think that you are doing great. I'm letting y'all speak for yourselves tonight. I'm doing something differently. Normally, I introduce everyone. So, Ty, I'm going to let you go ahead and speak.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Over where I'm at. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. Originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know Toya and Mom, Tyron. They're all family. I am a husband, one wife, shout out to love, and I have two beautiful children, and I have one on the way up August, baby boy. I used to work in corrections, and I moved to Nashville, and now I work as a sheriff's deputy. So I have a lot of interaction with a lot of youth and young men and boys along this journey. Great to be on the show. My brother Lamont, good to see everybody.
Lamont.
My dude.
John, can you hear us? Let me make sure we can hear you. But we can't hear you again, which is so unfortunate.
John pulled out the Xbox earphones.
Them helicopter headphones.
Yeah, he got the breaker 19s on.
Y'all so low down.
I got some too. I started to bring them out. I just got my little cheapos, the wired ones.
Oh my goodness! Look, let me start with you all, because I'm gonna kind of like keep in our conversation may go somewhere else. But Lamont, if you could, and maybe if everybody can keep their their comment to like maybe like a minute or less. Like in a minute or less, tell me what did you really expect fatherhood to be, Lamont, and what was it or what wasn't it, and what you imagined in your eyes as once you became a father?
I guess for me, the picture of fatherhood was vague. I didn't have positive males or positive role models in front of me that was supportive to kids, including my father. So my picture of fatherhood was extremely vague. I learned a lot by busting my head. Made a few mistakes. The blessing that I didn't make any major mistakes to, shred any relationships, but it's a day-to-day struggle. It's a day-to-day learning process. Every child is different. Every child I encountered or was involved with, every one of them were different, so they need different approaches. So just trying to juggle that and trying to figure out, what best way to add to their life has pretty much been the challenge.
Ty, how can you answer that for me?
Which Ty?
You know what? I have to remember. Ty Wren, but I have to remember.
Tyran is Mr. RETV.
Mr.
That's how you address it.
Thank you, Black. I appreciate that. Because somebody can't get it right. That's okay. Okay, my bad, Toya. Toya stuff. So usually, me and Black get to act a fool on Millionaire Man Cave, which comes on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. here on Relationship Entertainment Television, RETV, shameless plug. So that's why I'm kind of giving Toya a hard time. But but so as Lamont said, or actually not Lamont said this, one of the gentlemen in the previous segment actually said this. There is no handbook in parenting. So I really didn't know what to expect per se. I believe it was Kevin who said earlier in segment 1, I had a father at home, and that was all good and dandy, but I knew the relationship that my parents had. I didn't necessarily want to imitate and want to be like that in my marriage and my relationship. So I looked at the Cosby Show. When I looked at the Cosby Show, I was like, "Oh, dope! Bill Cosby is a dope father. He's playing with his kids. He teaches them life lessons and all this other stuff in between at the same time." So when I thought of fatherhood, I'm like, "Yo, this is what I want fatherhood to be like for me and my children." I would say my father told me, don't be like me, be better than me. Learn from the things that I do. You take the good and leave the negative. So I will say that's one of the, as a father, that's one of the things that I did. I took the good from him, from watching the Cosby Show, from having uncles, from having a grandparent, so forth, and took all that positive and said, I guess I'm gonna write my own manual on what fatherhood would look like for me and my children, me and my family.
Is the mic working out for you?
Oh,
we
there
can
you
hear
go.
you now.
Okay,
All right. All right.
Great, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Come on.
All right, John, from Milwaukee, living in Dallas, father of 9, grandfather of 1, valued uncle of 14. Yeah, here I go. I'm glad to be here.
Man, fantastic. How has fatherhood, but since you already talking, we just go ahead and keep it rolling with you. Fatherhood, what did you expect it to be, and how has it truly been for you?
Oh, wow. Well, Tori, I grew up with a big family. Everybody was involved. So my mom and dad was involved. So I was one of the fortunate ones to have both. But a lot of my friends and, the people I grew up around, they didn't. So they kind of gravitated our way. So as far as fatherhood went, for me, I thought it was going to be pretty easy. I thought it was just buy the nice shirt and have a happy day. But as time and the years went on, I'm starting to realize that it's a lot of long nights. I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
I'm learning every day. Yeah, pretty much.
Tyrone,
Yes.
same for you.
All right. Let's see. I share the same with I think John and a little bit of Tyron. I grew up with a big family. I had both my grandparents, at least on my dad's side. I had both my parents in the house. I grew up under the leadership of your grandfather, Reverend Joe Todd, who was a great man himself. Was a great example to all of us. So when it came to fatherhood for me, I was scared. I was nervous because I didn't really know what to expect, even though I had those examples.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was a high bar that I had to achieve. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to achieve that with my son. I will be honest with you, when I first got started, I was a little bit selfish because I didn't understand really the sacrifices that fathers really make for their children.
Mm.
Expected some of those things, and glad that I was able to mature, because that's what children do for you. They mature you. And so fatherhood for me has been a blessing. With two kids and one on the way, it's a blessing. It's tiresome. Sometimes it's pain. But overall, I'm very happy that fatherhood has taken me and how it has matured me into the man that I am today. I'm grateful.
Wow. The Godfather Black.
Man, first of all, man, I'm gonna give a shout out to you, man. You got one on the way. That is one of the most anticipatory times in your life, man. And, congratulations. I just want my father to just give a shout out to the brothers who was on in that first segment. I mean, they was giving it up, man. They really had some great content, and I'm telling you, I stole a lot from the guys, and they did a great job. But for me, I think I carry the sentiment of a lot of other brothers on this call that, I was fortunate to grow up with my father since day one, and just talked to my dad just yesterday, and he's always been there in my life.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, what fatherhood means to me is some of the other guys in the previous talked about abilities, but the one thing that my dad did for me, he had one ability, and that was availability. And he was there every single time that I needed him. And not only just me, but he was the dad for countless of my homies that I used to hang with that didn't have a father in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, come to find out, they came to me and said to me, man, we hung around with you because you had your dad in the house. And he was just cool. And he was the one that we looked up to. We looked up to y'all as a family. And not only that, just my dad, I had more than like 7 direct uncles that was my mother or my dad's brothers. And they always imparted in me wisdom. And then I was an athlete my whole life, and I can't not be on this call without giving honor to all my coaches.
Uh-huh.
Taught me, starting from an early age, Coach Moore, PAT basketball in Birmingham, and then Coach Ratio, Coach Emmett, Jackson, and then some of these guys took me on my first airplane ride to Las Vegas. That's another story, but Mama don't want to hear this story. But we went to Las Vegas, and my high school coach, Coach Clearsby, Coach Cheatham, Coach Drake, college coach. I was fortunate to play for NCAA Hall of Fame coach Joe Taylor at Hampton University, and I'm just so honored. And those men, they really have, like Ty said, I've taken things that I don't like about those men, and I pushed that to the side. And what I've done, I've taken what I can learn from those men,
Mm-hmm.
and I molded that to be what my style of parenting is. And that is where I got my philosophy for parenting from the men I just spoke about.
I think that is definitely important. You all sort of like in your introduction hit on the fact of how you all have still been that role for other young people. You know, because everybody that you're around, that it doesn't mean that they're going to have, you know, their fathers around. And so it helps that some man other man has stepped in. And like you said, Black, and I think Dante actually said it in the first segment about it takes a village to raise one child. Y'all can't be everywhere, you know, with your children. And so if they're a part of sports, they're going to have those coaches. If they're in a school, they're going to have the teachers, the administrators that are going to be implementing some things in your children's life. But I want to ask y'all a different question because all of you on here have daughters. Are you all afraid for your girls, considering, like, just think about who you were when you were younger? Are you all concerned for your girls with dating?
Yes. Yes.
I would say.
Everybody's silent. So anybody can jump in. Come on, Ty. Start with you. Ty Rick, Mr. RETV.
Go ahead, man.
That's funny. So even though, and this is, and I'm gonna answer this question this way because even though people believe that a child may not biologically be yours, you may have different feelings for them and whatnot. I've been in 2 blended marriages. I had a blended marriage my first time, and this is my second blended marriage. And I love both of my kids, my bonus kids, equally. So I'm answering this as if she's my own biological daughter. Mm-hmm. Heck yes, I'm concerned for her and her safety and well-being of these little dudes out in the street. That's why, as a father, I believe it is important to let her know what these guys are about, to school her on as much as I possibly can, so that way when she leaves and she can make proper decisions on messing with who and so forth and so on. So am I worried? Yes, but at the same time, no, because I feel like I'm going to make sure that she's equipped enough when she leaves my house. She may make mistakes, but she'll be able to recover and know right from wrong and good from bad and when to run and when to stay.
John.
I'm definitely worried because I guess I can say the things that I valued as a child. It don't hold no weight nowadays. You know what I mean? Even just simple as the music, you know, the music in itself is portraying different than the stuff that matters when it comes to a young lady being involved with a man. So, you know, it's like, and especially if they don't have a father figure at home to show them, you know, even how to treat a woman, that's hard. And it's, you know, so it's like they going off of what they hear and what they see. And for the most part is destructive nowadays. But I keep it real with my daughters. I tell them the truth. My daughters are my oldest children. So, yeah, I definitely equip them with what they need to know and what they can expect, you know. I tell my truth. I share my experiences, and I hope I'm giving them the right example of what a man should be when it comes to a woman.
You know what? I'm glad that you said that when you talked about sharing your experiences, because under no circumstances was my aim with this show to try to portray like perfect fathers. None of us are perfect. Yeah. But I wanted you all to come on because I just believe that, unfortunately, just the way society is, and I wrote this to you all in the email, that sometimes as women, we can really, you know, not do so great as far as when it comes to how we talk about our children's fathers. And that's critical, you know, because, and as you all, I believe it's important for fathers to share their stories, because my thing is, nobody can tell my life story better than me. Right. Yeah. So if somebody's trying to come up and like, you can't tell my children something that I haven't already told them.
Right. So, hey, Toya,
Yeah.
So you mentioned something. When we talked the other day about this topic. You mentioned something about the fact of people talking negative about their child's father.
Mm-hmm.
People got to remember, you the one that chose them. So if you're gonna talk about somebody, talk about yourself. I mean, because like you said, nobody is perfect. No man nor no woman is perfect in any situation. And so we all make mistakes. And sometimes our mistake may have been messing with the wrong person.
And
But that's why I feel like you got to do your due diligence, because you shouldn't just
And that's
mess
not
around
the
and lay
child's
around with
fault.
anybody and have a child with anybody.
yeah.
So I made sure that when I had my children specifically, that it was somebody who I knew was going to be, a good mother and a good wife at the time.
But you know what, Ty? I'm glad that you said that, because that's a part of training. Now, as a woman, I'm not going to, and this is for us to, put you all in the light. But I'll say for me, I don't rock with women that, are just dog walking their children's fathers. Now, let me tell you something. Now, if you're wrong, you're wrong. We're not into sugarcoating anything. But I think we have to be very careful in what we say in front of our children about the other parent, because that will confuse the child. And so I think that's why I'm getting at it's important, because let me tell you something. I'm not fooled by any of you and where you are in life today. I've known Lamont and Tyrone Love Jr. a long time, and John, he was younger. So I grew up with his cousin. We've known each other since we were 11. Y'all not fooling me. And Black, I just met you, and Ty, you and the family, y'all not fooling me. So I know y'all was on some stuff, and that's why I said it's important for you all to even share with your daughters, all of these girls, what you did, and that can help her perks and stuff. Like, look, your dad wasn't perfect, but this is what you need to watch out for. Don't just tell them that all them other jokers are bad. Now, talk about some of that stuff y'all did. So, Lamont, you up next. How you feeling?
For me, I have 2 sons and 2 daughters and a goddaughter. In reference to the girls, anybody that knows me know how I feel about the women or girls in my life.
Yes.
So as it comes to my daughters, I am scared, even more now than it was when I was younger, because of a lot of the deception, a lot of the tricks and things that are going on. But I believe my responsibility as a father, or even a male figure in a woman's life or a female's life, is to tell them those experiences, tell them about, some of the dead ends I ran into, or some of the tricks that I've done, to prepare them. So if it do come to a time where my daughter has picked, in my mind, the wrong person, it wouldn't be a lack of anything that I didn't do. I prepared them for it. And if they make that decision with their eyes open, I have to trust in their training. I have to trust that I've done my part. Can I do everything? I can't. Can I be everywhere? I can't. But I have to trust that what I've instilled in them is going to come to light, and they'll be able to see through it. And if they don't, I have to just trust that I've done my part. And no matter what or how I look at it, it's scary. And I tell my kids all the time, I ain't going to like whoever you with, and I ain't going to be cool with them, because they need to know if something happens, that's when Looney coming out.
Looney.
Thank you.
You know it.
He look like he put a ninja mask on and everything, man.
Man, we go for gut shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it.
Ty, you got some time to prepare, but how you feeling? Tyrone, I'm sorry.
Sis, my wife is watching, so she just texted me and told me I better think hard and long.
I saw that. I saw that. I was like, okay.
Hey, you tell your wife you're only 8 hours away. I get there.
Thank you, brother. I might need you.
Choose your words wisely. Choose them wisely now.
She's been there in the struggle and everything that I've done in my younger years. So she often reminds me that if I don't tell him, she gonna tell him, and she gonna tell him everything. So I have to make sure, even though I got at least another 17 years or so with my daughter before I hit that kind of cross that road. But I think it's like,
Wait, say that again. How long?
I got at least 17 years.
Your daughter's when? She's coming when?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, dude. No, you don't. You got a good
She
two.
here.
You got a good two. You ain't got no 17 years.
Exactly. Amen. Amen to that, Ty.
You can hope.
Amen to that.
So I have to make sure that I like they said, that you tell everything, even the bad. I know me, and some of y'all know me. Y'all know the things I've done, what I was capable of doing, all that. And so when I come to my daughter and I look at her, I have to make sure first that I have to love her.
Yeah.
Make sure she feels love. I think a lot of times some of our missing that fatherly bond, that love, because we were raising the boy is something like different. You know, you kind of be rough with him, but a girl, you have to kind of be gentle and you have to take time and be patient with them. You have to be a daddy's girl, you know. So it's definitely different having a girl, because, like I said, I thought about this in the time that I was doing my thing, how it would be when I have my daughter, because I know the Bible says you reap what you sow, and so it is a very scary situation when I look at it. But I'm grateful that, as we all know, we have a village, that it takes a village to raise our children. So I'm grateful that my daughter has a strong mother that don't mind standing up and telling, stepping in when she needs to, and speaking her mind. And if she's a daughter of Chardon Love, she would definitely have a mind of her own. She'll speak her mind and she's gonna tell it like it is. But again, it's important that I play my role, that I do my part to tell her everything. I mean, everything, all the tricks of the trades, how I use some of the church a little bit to get my way a little bit. It's you have to tell all of that. All of that plays a part. You know, I have to tell it all so that she's very prepared. And I'm with Lamont. I worked in a funeral home. I'm a sheriff deputy. I worked in corrections. So, brother, if you try, I got a couple to make some things happen.
Yeah.
He's stuck from all directions.
Okay. Let me just say this to you, because we're getting ready to do our switch, but I'm gonna have Black and Ty stay on. The importance of men, and I want you all to know this, how important you all are in our lives and how we need you. Lamont is not that much older than me, but I've always referred to him as the brother I never wanted. And my dad was not in my life. And I remember in high school, especially, Lamont might have been 21 at the time, if that, like 20. And every school year, he would ask me, what did I need? Every school year, he would ask, what do you need for school? And he would get my supplies. And he was very young. So I want those that are listening, men that are listening, to encourage you. This doesn't start when you're 30 or 40 to start helping. Man, if you see a need it. And it's not about that you have to stick around for years on end. You don't know how one encounter can change someone's life. And I know that this is really putting our age out there, which I don't care. But when pagers were hot, Lamont paid for my pager subscription for my pager bill for like a whole year. And I remember it was purple. I was so proud of my pager. When they were popular. But what I'm saying is that affected me. And I need y'all to know this, because as young women, and we talked about this on our first show, daddy issues, we need to feel protected. And sometimes it may not come from a biological father, but it can come from those cousins and those uncles. So we need to feel as if we have some sort of protection. And Lamont was my protector. So, I want to, Lamont, I only tell you thank you. And I only get kind of mushy with you like once every 5 years. So take this as your once every 5 years moment. But I want to let everybody know that
hey, Lamont, this is being recorded. So you can come back and play this again when you need to.
Matter of fact, put it on your voicemail, man. Put it on your voicemail. Play it.
Okay, here we
I
go.
need all of it.
See, it's Ty, you always starting. But because I'm going to have Lamont Tyrone and John get off so we can get the other three gentlemen on. I want to start with you, John. If you guys can say it in like 60 seconds or less. Man, what is your most joy of being a father? And tell us what you're grateful for.
Oh man, I'm grateful for one to be here to see them grow and to live through it with them up to this point. And I guess one of my best things about being a father is just the fact that I can experience some things that I didn't experience, and I can share some things and like give them some encouraging words and moments and some things that they're on their way to experience just growing up, being daughters and young men. So I appreciate y'all having me on. The fellas, don't be surprised if I reach out to y'all and pick y'all brains and ask a few questions. But I'm definitely joyful and grateful for being here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
T-Love,
Reach out, John.
we'll save Lamont for
I guess
last.
for me,
Oh,
okay.
All right. One of my joys that I have in this fatherhood is comes at nighttime when I put my kids to sleep. We do what we call a little praise break before we go to bed. That's to get some of the energy out, and also because my kids are churchy. And then we read a book, and my son says the prayers for everybody. I mean, this guy prays for everything, Chinese food and all. I'm grateful for.
Chinese food.
I'm grateful for my kids' love for me. When I go to work in the morning, I work in law enforcement. So when I leave in the morning time, it's not guaranteed that I'm coming back home.
mm-hmm.
And so before I leave, I rub my wifey, and then I go in my kids' room so I don't wake them up. I just look at them because I don't know if I'm making it home. And so when I come home from work and I open the door, my kids bum rush me with equipment on and all. And I have to make sure I take off my side piece and everything else before I give them a hug. But that's the joy of coming home to two beautiful kids and a wife, and everybody's just happy that you made it, and they happy because they really love you. So that's my joy, and that's me being grateful.
My brother.
Appreciate what you do, bro.
For me, I'm grateful that I have another opportunity to make up for my shortcomings as a father. And secondly, I'm thankful that I'm able to now instill into my children all that I've instilled in other people, and just seeing the blessings of that. By not having a father in my life since I was 7, for me to learn as I learned and be who I am today is a combination of a lot of things that I've seen. And like Ty said, I took out what was good and used that for my benefit. But ultimately, I'm just grateful that I have another opportunity to instill in another child's life something positive and something that I didn't have for myself.
That's fantastic. I want to tell you three, since you all are getting ready to leave, that I'm honored to know every last one of you. I'm so appreciative of you being willing to come on. My whole aim was that I wanted to shed some light, a positive light on our gentlemen. And again, I will reiterate this because I don't know when people are coming into the stream, but this is not about perfection, and we're still learning. Something that my grandfather told me years ago when my children were smaller, he said, it doesn't matter how old your children get, that will always be your child. And I found that to be true. So it's not that parenting stops at 18. I realize that now, especially having a 21-year-old, that we still need y'all. The kids they're still going to need you, and that they still need that guidance. So John, I'm proud of you for saying that you will reach out to them. I'm serious, you all. I'm all about connections. because you all need to uplift each other. As much as we are here, and I'm speaking as women, as much as we are here to support you all, I will never know what it's like to be a man, and thank God, because I love men too much to be one. So with that being said, we're gonna make Black, fix your face. I'm saying I don't want to take y'all job. That's y'all. I stay in my lane. I'm very happy with where I am, but I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences being fathers, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
That sounds like my mama saying, "I'm beating you because I love you." Don't hit so hard.
What you say, Black? You sound a little far away. I want to make sure we can hear you because you be saying some slick stuff.
In my back? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. You sound far away.
You just sound far away. It was better when we did our check-in.
That's all right. He good. We can hear him.
He good. Okay. I'm gonna need my two other gentlemen that come on. Make sure that you all are not on mute because I'm gonna have you introduce yourselves, and we'll start with the eldest that just came in.
What's going on, y'all? Fellas, how y'all doing? I'm Jason Todd, father of 5, 4 girls, 1 son. What else are we saying?
That's good enough, Jason. Thank you for letting us know. You did perfect.
Exactly.
We'll go to Justin.
Justin Wellingham, father of 3, 2 boys and a girl.
And Malcolm, you would be next.
What's going on, y'all? Malcolm Bentley. I got 2 girls, beautiful wife, a dog. That's the only boy that's in the house.
Oh man. You guys, here's the thing. I want to make sure that we get to some of the questions that may come up, and I just saw one pop up. So Jason, Isaiah, Justin, Ty, please feel free, but I want to read this. It says, what do you suggest that a single parent like myself do with a teenage young man that does not have his father in his life anymore? After my divorce, my ex of 11 years decided that he no longer wanted to be a part of his children's lives if he could not have me. That's a whole nother show with parents that don't want to be parents because they can't be in a relationship with the other parent. I can tell that had a negative effect on my son. He's not the same child anymore. What things can you all suggest, and any one of you are free to jump in with this, I do to surround my son with strong, positive, successful Black men, mentoring programs, literature, etc. A woman can try. I don't think I can see the rest, but yeah. What do you all say that she can do? And I think that maybe somebody who didn't necessarily have their dad in their life, I'm not saying you all can't respond to this, but what can she do? Because this is one of our listeners that want to hear what you all have to say.
I would say, first of all.
All right, so I guess I'll start. It's, to be honest, hopefully it's always going to be difficult because we always going to long for our father. But I honestly think getting involved into sport or any activity, because that creates a brotherhood in itself. Me really being involved with the common goal, and that's to be around my brothers, play something that we love, basketball. It builds that own community that you're kind of missing at the time. Of course, it's not going to fill the void, but having that little community, it kind of ease your mind and your pain for the time being. But then also, like a lot of coaches really poured a lot into me. But of course, like my grandfather, he was the person who stepped right in. So for you, hopefully he can find like a sport that he's into, or even like a club. It can be a chess club. Just again, surrounding him with a community that can take his mind off of everything that's going on.
Godfather Jason, do you have any suggestions for the mother?
I mean, it's growing up with my dad at home, so I can know I'm an outsider looking in. But like Goose said, well, Malcolm, Isaiah. I mean, I've never called him Malcolm in his life, but anyway, um, finding positive. And my thing is this, and we understand that we desire, black men and things of that nature, but sometimes that's just not, it depends on the community you live in, things of that nature. So positive men, period. And I know as a woman, you don't want your child around just anyone. So I've seen that a lot as far as women, that are single mothers. Hey, you put that front up and you don't just want anyone around him or her, as your children. So seek number one, seek God and ask for wisdom. And but the community, that you build is plays a vital role, regardless if he's, the father is present or not. That still plays a vital role. Even as a man having a father, that community plays a vital role, because a lot of times you listen more to the community because you think your father just talking. But you know what I'm saying? So that community is very, very, very powerful. So Isaiah was right. That community is positive, powerful. What's up, Sheila?
Wow. Justin, let me ask you this, because this is like the leading question, because I want to make sure we get Justin some time to talk here, because this is almost like seeing a unicorn with Justin on this show tonight. So just like, man, let's talk about your experience as a father. Like, how has it been for you?
It's been great, actually. It was different. I didn't have my first child until I was 30, so I was used to just being me, doing what I do, moving how I want to move. And people that knew me knew that I was just like my brother, just trying to move around, just traveling, being around, doing whatever. So once I found out I was going to be a father, I was nervous, somewhat, but just because I still have great support system, men in my life that pour into me, and just some stuff that they share, different things to share with me, kind of ease my mind, like, okay, I'm good. Now I love it. I mean, I love being a father. Waking up sometimes 3, 4 in the morning, one of the kids getting up, asking some of the craziest things they want to ask at that time. I don't get upset. That type of stuff is just funny to me. I'm still the same person. Still love life, just funny. You can see a lot of things as being goofy or whatever the case may be. But my kids are a big part of my life, and I love it. It's challenging, just juggling the 3 personalities that we have. But my wife is great. She's great with me, with that balance, because I can pretty much let them do whatever they want to do, and that's not the best thing. She brings that balance that's definitely needed. But I enjoy it. I love fatherhood. I love everything that comes with it, even the tough times, just because it allows me to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And different, and it also gives me that outlet to reach out to people. Like you said, so I'm to myself. People don't see me, don't talk to me. Even if I come home, I'm in and out. Nobody. If you're not by my parents' house, my grandmother's house, you probably won't see me. So that gives me an opportunity to reach out and just to talk to people, just to, to figure things out, because I know I can't do it on my own.
Yeah.
So
Toya, right quick to what just said, to be completely honest and transparent about being a father, there have been times in this, I'll say 19-year journey. And the reason I say 19 years is because, again, I have a bonus son who I came in his life when he was 1. In this 19-year journey, that I had to question myself, like, was I doing a good enough job as a father? Was I doing things that was right for my children? And putting myself aside and making sure that they were provided for, or especially because even though boys are boys. Boys can be moody too, and sometimes when they get in their little moods and don't want to talk to dad and don't want to, they mad at dad. I'm like, yo, I got to go look at myself sometimes and go, am I doing the right thing by punishing him? Am I doing the right thing by X, Y, and Z, because now he's mad and not talking to me and things like that. And like Just said, sometimes it's that support system you get from being around, brothers. Just is my brother, Jay is my brother, Malcolm is my cousin, Black is my brother. Being around and having that support system I can call or whatever to say, yo, you're doing the right thing. That encouragement to say, this is how I may have handled this, or this is whatever the situation is. I think that's real important, as Just was just hitting on.
See, and I'm glad that you said that, Ty, because I was going to ask you all, do you all reach out? Because again, you don't have all of the answers. Like if you are at a point where you kind of like feel overwhelmed, like that's just not something for women. Y'all get overwhelmed as well. Like, what do you do in that? Jay, you look like you're ready to say it.
Yeah, I think when we ask ourselves these questions, as far as are we doing the right thing, I take that as we're still humble and we're still striving to be better. Because I believe if we get to the point where we think we're doing everything right, there's a problem with us. You know what I'm saying? And that's with anything. You know what I'm saying? But especially when you're dealing with another life, if I can't question myself and, and I don't, my children may not know that I'm questioning myself because I have to be stern and stick to what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm asking myself, is this right? And at the same time, if I ask myself, well, my wife may let me know that's not right. Okay, then I need to go back and say, I'm sorry, or I've done, but you know what I'm saying? I need to change my mind. But I think that's just that's a great part of being humble and understanding that we have not arrived. We may never arrive. And I don't think we should think that we have arrived, because if we feel that way, there is a major problem. But one thing I learned about being a father, one thing about growing up in our household, providing was never a problem. So, and I was hearing, some of the guys talk, and I'm not knocking them, it's just how I was brought up. So the sacrifice, soon as I found out, Drita was pregnant with Janiyah, boom, okay, then what do I need to do? I think the first thing that I did, because my dad he still does this to today. If you need anything, you can call on my dad. Anyone can call on my father and he'll send money. So I think the first thing I did was send money, but I had to find out that's not the answer. That's not the answer to everything. Right. But one thing I did learn as a father, it's not just about raising your children, but it's about being a good husband in front of your children. I think that's the main thing I had to learn as a father. Because I'm a great provider. I have no problem with providing. Anybody can ask you. My wife will tell you, even when we first got married and I was a horrible husband, she didn't worry about me providing. She was, as far as physical things and tangible things and making sure the bills are paid, she was worried about how I'm going to treat her. So I had to learn as a father that it's not about raising my children, it's just us, but it's about being a good husband in front of them so that I got 4 daughters, one of my daughters don't live with me, but making sure that they see me take care of their mother physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that guess what? My son can say, well, my dad messed up right here, but he was good right here. I'll take some of that. And, my daughters will say, well, my daddy always did this. He always did that. He may have messed up right here, but he was great as far as making sure my mom was well loved, things of that nature. So they know what to look for. I think that's major when it comes to being a father. Major.
Yeah.
In his boots. Jesus Christ.
I think so low down. Ty, I almost wish we could mute them, because I'm like, Jason is giving some great information, and then I see Megan's response, and I go,
I want to see Jason's boots. That's that's the greatest.
And he's still awake, but we're not going to do that tonight.
Anybody can say this, because what have any of you, and you, Jason, you hit on that, with Uncle Ricky, you learned about providing. What have any of you other gentlemen learned from your dad?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, Toya, because my father's been in my life all of my life except for most recently, unfortunately. Even now I still learn lessons from my father. And I said one of the biggest things that I learned from my father I said earlier is, you take the good and leave the bad. And that's what I don't just apply that to, being with my wife or anything. I apply that with everything that I do. You take the good in whatever relationships that I have, whether it's be with friends or employers, employees, or whatever the case is. I take the good and leave the bad, or learn from the bad, better yet.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest, I'll say one of the biggest lessons that I think that I've learned from my father, because I think Jason hit on this. In a lot of cases, that is the first person we look up to as a father, for those of us who have a father in our home. Another gentleman said in the other segment, sometimes it may be a coach, sometimes it may be a church member, sometimes but usually it's, the dad is the first male figure that we look up to. And so we learn, how to walk, how we talk, how we do everything, from our fathers.
Black.
Am I answering the one about the father?
Yeah.
Man, we could be here all day. My dad just been one of those cats, man. He is. I learned so many things indirectly from my dad that I didn't know that I learned until I became a father. And my kids look at me and say things about me that I hated when my dad did. And they love it. Like being able to fix stuff. We grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and we were always, and my mom's only 17 years older than me. My dad is 20 years older than me. We were fairly young. So we grew up together. And in the 70s, that wasn't a lot of money. And so we was always fixing stuff. Everything somebody else paid somebody to do, we did it on our own. Like putting a roof on the house, painting the house, putting the floor down, put a motor in a car, stuff like that. And I hated that crap. I hated it.
Yeah.
And, it's like when my kids look at it, it's like they come to me as Mr. Fix It. And I'm trying to figure out what happened. I never went to school to learn any of this crap. But that's what I do a lot. And I owe that to my dad because he was always there for me, always had me along on that journey. And I'm just so proud of it. And my dad was just available. He was available. He was available for me. And, and that's what I want to do for my kids. Be available. Be for them, because we can't steer them away from all the bad things that are going to happen to them. Their lives have their own courses. And there is no way we can do or prepare them for everything that they are going to encounter. All we can do is prepare them and let them know that we love them no matter what they encounter and how they handle it. And that's what I get from my dad.
Let me say this, because I'm going to go to another question, because I know we're getting, our time is dwindling down, and I want to make sure that I respect, everyone's time. I have to remember some of you are an hour ahead of me.
They work from home.
Okay. Leave it to Jason. But we'll say, let me ask this. What would, and Justin, I want you to answer this one, and everybody else can answer. You jump in, feel free, wherever. But Justin, what would you want your legacy to be with your children?
It's tough.
Time is ticking.
You work from home, right? Everyone works from home.
No, I get up at 3 in the morning.
You said
me and Goo have to get up in the morning.
He'll be up. I would say my legacy for my kids, just that I was a stand-up guy, straight up guy.
Jason's face. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and everyone could tell him that. He was a good man. He was a good father, good husband. He was a great example. I'll leave it there. He was a great example.
All right, that's good.
Go, buddy.
Isaiah.
So for me, it'd be like what my father figure showed me, and it was basically love for people, and that's including them. Like if I can pass down anything, especially like with what's going on right now in the world, love and compassion. Like of course you gotta sometimes put them big boy pants on and discipline them. But if there's anything, they can be like, man, my father was a true person. Like he was a good example to show love, like to anybody he's seen. If there's anybody on the street, that's going through a hard time, or just somebody who needed help. My daddy, he loved us and he loved people. So that's for me.
Ty.
As I was going to say earlier, that's a tough question because there's a lot that I want to leave my kids as a legacy, and of course, and I probably should have gone last for this specific reason because of course this network is one of them. Leaving them something that is timeless, that they can have for the end of time, that will, as Justin, or I think it was Justin, said that that when I'm gone, they can say, their dad was a man who tried to make an impact in his own way. And that's through this network of Relationship Entertainment Television. That's through the relationships that I have with, my wife and with my friends and with my neighbors and the men that I surround myself with. That's through the relationship that I have with my Lord and Savior. That my children can look at me one day, go back and look and say, my dad was a great dad, and I'll take those little lessons, those little bits of nuggets that he was trying to teach me along the way, and make me become a better person and carry on what he what I feel like I'm trying to do with and for them.
Black. What's your legacy?
Man, first of all, I ain't gonna leave my kids broke. That's what I'm gonna do. That's first and foremost. One thing my dad always told me, he said, son, I want to give you twice as much as I had coming up as a kid and put you ahead. My challenge to you is to double that for your kids. So that is something that beats in my heart and my mind, to give my kids more than what my dad gave me. And that's the only way I can honor my dad. The next thing is my major thing is I don't care if it's my children or anybody's life that I come into. My legacy for me is when you come in contact with me, were you stronger because I was in your life? And I want to be that person because I was in your life. And I don't want to be the person that you had to be strong because I was in your life. And so it's two different things. Some people, when they come around, you got to prepare yourself for the worst. And you got to build yourself up. But then if some people come around, you always going to get something from them. They're going to put something in your life. They're going to give you. And that is the legacy I want for my children, because that's the legacy that I've had for my parents, all the people that's in my life, and I appreciate it.
Wow. Jason knows that he's next, but I'm going to go ahead and call his name.
Hey, you have to respect me and call my name. In the word, put some respect on my name. The legacy, number one, is to leave them something tangible, like Black said, most and Ty. Yes, because a lot of times us as, let's just, us be real, us as Black people, that's not something that's common, but we want to make it common. And the only way that we can do that is beginning with one family at a time. And so, God has blessed us with children and wives. So, hey, let's make sure that we do not leave them in debt. But my desire is that they live better if God takes me before they live better
Mm-hmm.
than when I was even alive. As far as financially, but
Mm-hmm.
also that they can say that I was the same man every day. They didn't hear anything different when they went out, and what they saw in the home was the same thing that they saw out, amongst people. Uh, they didn't never saw two different people, that I was the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they see that, then they'll always be for sure in who they are and confident in who they are, and they don't have to be fake or try to be mushy with anybody. Just be who you are, because I was always who God created me to be. Flaws and all.
Yes.
So that's the legacy I desire to leave. And for my nephew, I'm going to leave him some boots. I'm going to leave him some new boots.
He ain't giving up on them boots yet.
Man, we're gonna have to see Jay's boots in a minute. We're gonna have to see those boots. Listen, I know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you all go around, because I'm gonna get as much talking out of Isaiah and Justin as I possibly can. We'll start with Black, go to Justin, go to Isaiah, go to Jay, and we'll end with you, Tyron. I want, what encouragement would you give a father? And if you guys can do this in 60 seconds, I know that's pushing it, but just try. What encouragement would you give another man that's a father? And tell us, what are you grateful for?
Oh, you asking multiple questions.
Yeah.
I see too.
Hey, we have this conversation on Millionaire Man Cave, how women can't just ask one question.
Yeah.
And again, this is the Women's Champ show, so I ask as many questions as I like. Black
on RETV.
Aha!
Aha! It's still the Women's Champ show, and while Black is over there thinking,
Grandma's Champ.
No.
We're not going there. We're not going there. I'm sorry. I'm muting myself. I apologize.
Step on back. All right, Black.
All right. What advice I would give to fathers?
Yes.
Be available. A lot of times it ain't what you know, it's just being there through those hard times. Nobody has the right answers. I don't have the same situations that happened with my kids that my parents and my dad handled with me. I handled them different, but I think my dad was there through those tough times. And I just say, hey, be there. There is no right, there is no wrong way when you care. And make sure your kids know you love them. And any way you can, show them that you love them. So that's one thing. And everything can be forgiven. Everything can be forgiven, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's a lot of times me and my dad clashed on situations, but when I became a man and had my own family, I had called my dad and I had to apologize. I said, I understand what you were talking about, because now I'm in that situation. And Toya, I got a man's brain. I don't remember the second question. What was the second question?
And see, now if I would have said that, then that would have started a whole nother conversation. But I'll go ahead and let you know that I just like for you to lead. What are you grateful for?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
She has it written down. That's how she knows. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, right now what he's saying. Jason, you said you were on mute, man. Now, didn't you say that you want your children to remember you as a man that kept his word? You said you were on mute. Stay on mute until it's your turn to talk. Black was finishing.
I usually write it down, Jason. I usually write it down, man. I got a pen and pad right here. I got it right here. And I always write stuff down, but I didn't write that down.
It's fine.
But what I would say, what I'm most grateful for is I'm grateful for the people who have touched my life and helped me get to where I am. And I'm even more grateful to be able to have touched different people's lives. I spent my life as an educator, teacher, principal for over 20 years. And, right now I love it when I look on Facebook and I see my former students who are parents doing great things. They're doctors, they're lawyers. Some of them in politics. They're running for offices. They are, and these kids, and I'm gonna say from the hood, and I love it. And I want to say that because these kids, I've seen these kids. I've never taught in a well-to-do school. One of those schools that were the so-called, good schools. We made them good. It's not the school, it's the people that's in them. So I'm so proud of these kids. They're authors of books. They run their own, apps. I'm just so proud to be a part of those kids who I've been able to work with, and for them kids to reach out and say, hey, we appreciate you for what you did because you made us feel proud to be who we are and allow us to go after our goals and dreams and not shun or ridicule us for the things that were happening to us. That's what I'm proud of. I just want to keep it on. So my famous word is keep on, keep it on. Let's do it.
That's fantastic because Black, that goes back to the village. You were a part of their village and you get to see the seeds that you've planted and many others have planted in those young people's lives. Justin?
What I would say to fathers is be honest with your kids. Be upfront with them. Let them know. Let them see your mistakes. Let them know that you made mistakes. And tell them, just be honest. Like, hey, I did this wrong. This is what you shouldn't do. This is how you correct it. I think that's really important. For shut up, stupid dude. For us as men, and I can say that because growing up, I didn't know a lot. Maybe being the youngest and just as long as my dad was at my games, I was straight. So I didn't know like mistakes that he made. I didn't know him doing wrong. I didn't know any of that. I just figured my pops was like, I won't say perfect because I knew no one was perfect, but close to it. Until I got older and he started sharing stuff with me. I'm like, what? Like you was on that? And I never knew. So I think that's really important for us, for whether it's your son, definitely your daughter, but your sons too. Like let them know, what's going on. Be honest with them and what this world is really like because it's crazy out there in the world. And I'm thankful for family, my wife, my children, and my support system, my brothers, not just Jay, but Ty, my brother Alex, cousins Isaiah. Like I never knew we had so much in common, man. We talk all the time now, helping each other out. So I'm really thankful for my brothers and my support system because that helps out a lot.
Fantastic. Isaiah?
So for the first question, I don't want to harp on what everybody already said. So what I can tell them is really just, again, the support system is big because just like Justin was saying, fathers, we go through a lot too. I know women go through a lot, but again, just like it's just a reality. Every single person on this earth is kind of going through a lot. We dealing with it differently because we are two different species.
Yes.
But men, we go through a lot, especially active fathers. People who upright, trying to take care of business, working, being involved with their wife, being involved with their kids. We go through a lot. So again, just like having that support system as Justin was talking about, calling, hey man, hey, it's just been a hard day, because sometimes you just want to hear that different perspective, just release. So make sure you have a good support system, not nobody that's going. And what my grandfather always told me, don't hang around no single folks, because you hang around some single folks, you're gonna do what single folks do. So if you're gonna have a support system that's gonna really support you, not the ones that's gonna be like, oh man, dude, she did that. Man, let's go ahead and leave her. Nah, we ain't doing that. We're gonna be upfront with each other, but we also gonna get through it like together. So That's the most important thing I can really pass to another father. Most definitely get you a good community that can support you and further you and make you better as a man and a father. What I'm grateful for is my kids and my wife. Like, man, uh, like when people say it, like I don't think I can make it without them. I know it's a lot of things that we can do, but with not having, like, my wife been in my life since I was what, 14, 15. So we literally grew up together. She knows me. She can get me. She push me when I need to be pushed. She sit me down when I need to get sit down, and really just having her there to just support me and to make me better as a man. And then I'm most definitely grateful for my girls because God bless us to where we have two healthy girls. The reason why I say healthy girls is because me and my wife, we both have sickle cell trait. I'm not sure if anybody knows what that is, but my daughters don't have, they're sickle cell free.
Wow.
So my one daughter has the trait, but again, it's not the full blown disease. So most definitely grateful to just, so seeing them every day, it's like, man, you got to keep going because this is, God bless you to have two healthy kids. Like, this don't happen. This don't happen. You beating statistics already, so you need to most definitely be on your game. So most definitely grateful for my three girls and the other guy in my family, Buddy, my dog. He my dude. So
Honor buddy. Honor buddy. Thank you, Isaiah.
Toy, I just want to say something about what Isaiah just said.
Yeah.
Something that goes on in the black community is something he said that's so hard hitting and real. Sickle cell trait. That affects us so. Right now, I have the sickle cell trait. And so, like you said, that my wife does not, but my daughter does. So we talked about our daughters. That's a question that they need to be talking about when they meet whoever they meet, because that's so important, man. That's not something we look over and we're just not educated on as a people. But Isaiah, man, and God bless you, man, and thank you for sharing that, because my family is affected by that as well, man. I just want to say thank you, and I'm grateful for you being on the call. Thank you.
And we're grateful for you, Black.
I feel special, Toy.
You should. Jason.
Advice I would give to a father: never be so bullheaded to say you're sorry or to apologize. That was a problem that I had at the beginning of my marriage, and as a father, I was so stubborn and bullheaded. Even when I knew I was wrong, I wouldn't say I'm sorry, and it goes a long way, especially when it's coming from your heart. And so, never be too stubborn to say you're sorry or to say that you're wrong. It goes a long way. It keeps peace in your home, and I think a lot of times let me just say this: let us start speaking to fathers as, what I'm saying. Let's not just speak to them as fathers, but let's speak to them as their husbands. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things that's a problem in our community. You know what I'm saying? We have fathers, but we don't have husbands. And what I mean by that is that, and granted, what I'm saying, it happens. I'm not saying we're perfect. None of us are. But let us speak into our sons' lives. Let us speak into our daughters' lives. Let us talk to them in order. Because when we have order, then our lives go better. You know what I'm saying? And I can say that from experience. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm going off a little bit, but I think it just needs to be said. We have to start speaking to our children's lives about order. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to marriage is first. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard for us. I can say for myself, it's hard. It was hard for me to put my wife first because we had children first. You know what I'm saying? So of course, when you have a child, that's all you're gonna do. And then when you get married, it's hard because you never put her first. You always put the child first. So then as women, they go through that phase where like you don't love me, things of the nature. And it's not that you don't, but you don't even know how because we never took the time to put them first. And so then now we gotta reevaluate ourselves. Now we gotta reprogram ourselves if we would just do it in order. So that's one of the things that I try to teach my children. It's all about order. God is a God of order. Yep. He's not the author of confusion. So if he's a God of order and we're created in his image, let's do things in order. But what I'm grateful for is, man, I have a wife that loves me in spite of everything that I put her through. She loves me unconditionally, tells me the truth, keeps it blunt. And you know what I'm saying? And I respect that. At one point in time, I didn't. I did respect it, but I wasn't going to let her know it at one point in time. But I'm a big enough man. I'm a wise enough man now to say I respect that and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And my children, you know what I'm saying? I have some great children that are doing well. I'm so grateful that they're not like their father. They have great grades. They do well in school. Like my parents couldn't get me to do well in school. And it wasn't that I was dumb. I just chose not to. I just would. I mean, the advice I gave Toya, and this is retarded, but I'll tell you the advice I gave Toya. Because I think Toya was working hard, you know, and I think she got a C. I said, the problem is you always were shooting high. You got to shoot low so then when you go higher, they'll be happy.
Let me tell y'all what Jason said. I was playing basketball my freshman year in high school, and I was always an honor roll student. So I ended up getting a 2.8 during basketball season. And Grandpa was like, if you don't bring them grades up, I'm taking you off that team. And so I told Jason about it. He was like, this is where you went wrong. He was like, you always start off low and then you go high because then they think that you're doing better. That's what you told me.
And I was crazy.
So thanks, Jason.
I was crazy.
Wonderful advice.
But did it work though?
No, the bar was already set. So my grandfather already knew my capability. He wasn't going.
I had worried my parents so much. They said, you know what? We're just tired. If he graduates, praise be to God.
And Auntie Sam filled out his college application.
And then made me pay for it. She took my checkbook and wrote out a check for school. I didn't want to go.
But you finished.
I think I'm grateful that I did, you know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing that my children see that, hey, you know, and I tutor now and this, but anyway, I'm just grateful that my children are great students. I'm talking about some great students and great people, great kids that do well and they excel at everything they do. So I'm just grateful to God for that they did not get that trait of their daddy in there, that they work hard.
Amen.
Bro, you had a checkbook in high school?
Huh?
You had a checkbook in high school?
Well, no, this is after I graduated. I went to college for like 2 weeks and I quit. And my mom, you know what I'm saying? She was like, you know what? Just let me get a job. Cause I'm like, I'm not going to school. So
I was about to say.
No. Then Bush talks about going to college. And I'm like, why? Why? Don't tell them you're going to college. Just go. Because then they're gonna make me go.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And so
then she left me. Because after semester, she leaves me.
Yeah. And we all know why, because I had to have Jalen. So here we are.
Graduating though. I used to be a teacher as well, but
yeah. But, we're gonna end with Ty, and then I'll.
Oh. I figured the good Reverend Todd there went that, you know, I was done. We was gonna say benediction and be out.
No, Mr. RETV, let's roll.
No, okay. I had to write it down because, like Black, I had forgotten your questions. It was like 30 minutes ago that you had asked that, and it was like 5 in a row. It was like 5 questions. So number one,
like 10. Sound like 10.
Number one.
It was 2.
No, I'm joking. Hey, I'm messing with. Hey, Toya, you know I gotta mess with you because you do it to me. Anywho, To your first question though, because I did have to write it down because I really would forgot. It's my encouraging words would be open and be open. A lot of the fellas talked about being honest about your past, but be open. Humble yourself to know that there is no manual, there is no encyclopedia, there is no specific thing that makes you the perfect dad. That makes you the perfect father. We watch a lot of this stuff that we see on TV, and situations turn real bad within the first 15 minutes, and then they spend the rest of the 15 minutes of the show or hour of the show, working it all out. And so you have this, beginning, middle, and end all within a 30-minute or 2-hour period. That's not real life, unfortunately. A lot of stuff that we do as fathers is really off the seat of our pants or from things we have seen others do, other fathers in our lives, other role models, basketball coaches, football coaches, pastors, and so forth, that we're learning from other people. So continue to be open and allow yourself to receive as much knowledge from your circle. Because as Isaiah said earlier, your circle is a major part of your life. You don't want to surround yourself with people who will steer you in the wrong direction, or people who will, tell you things that that are not good for you as a father. So keep your circle, keep an eye on your circle. You want to make sure, as Black said earlier, that people in your circle that you can actually learn from, and they can learn from you too. You don't always want to be the mooch. But as far as being a father is concerned, continue to be open. Always be learning. I pride myself to be a man of my word, and I say be a man of your word, because in a lot of cases, your word is your bond, and if you're telling your child something, stick to it. It's good to play around. Oh, I was just playing with you. I was just joking with you. But when in serious times, be a man of your word. If you say you're going to be there at a certain time, be there at a certain time. If you say you're going to do something for him or her, do something for him or her, because you're giving them examples of what they should start looking for in life. And you want them to hold people, the men that they're with, as I mentioned in the second segment, the men that they're with, accountable to their time, and so forth as well. So, be a man of your word when it comes to your children, and as Jason said, to your spouse, to your wife. So, y'all killing me with Jason them boots.
Justin has to go get them. Justin has to go get them while you talk. You have to get them. Okay.
Absolutely. What am I thankful for? Man, I am thankful for this day. I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for the ability to sit here in front of everybody who's watching, the four other fellas on here with me, and of course you, Toya, because we know there are so many who do not have the opportunity to see another day, to see other opportunities like this. So I'm definitely thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful to be able, for Toya, I'll say I'm definitely thankful for you for having these conversations, for people to get to see other side of men, because as Isaiah said earlier, men, and as somebody else also said, men can be moody, men can be, people, so many people rely on men. We have a lot of weight on our shoulders as a man, and I don't think a lot of people get to see us be vulnerable at times.
Yes.
And so I'm thankful for you pulling that out of the guests that you have on your show, specifically about men, and being real, not just bashing men, because we have enough people already bashing us out in the world as it is, that we don't need other, platforms like this to bash us as Black men or just men in general. So I'm thankful, definitely, Toya, for you in this show. And I'm just thankful for everyone who supports Relationship Entertainment Television. I hope that everyone has liked this platform on Facebook and subscribed via YouTube. There have been many people who have watched this show tonight and previous nights, and I just asked of one simple thing, just to go ahead and like this platform on Facebook as well as YouTube and Instagram, because your support really means a lot to not just myself, but shows like Toya's, Millionaire Man Cave, people building positive relationships, and so on and so forth. So I'm really thankful for the watching audience.
Yes. Well, as we get ready to go out, you gentlemen just hold tight so we don't have y'all falling away. as Ty gets ready to end our session. But I want to thank everyone that has tuned in, that has shared the stream. I'm appreciative of all of you, man. You know, Black, I can't wait to meet you in person, but more importantly, I can't wait to meet your wife, because she has to be a special woman.
Oh yeah.
I know she is, and I want to hug her and thank her. And you know, Justin's always been my baby, so you know, Justin was kind of like couldn't do any wrong. And Isaiah, those were just my hearts.
Wait. Stop right there. You're not gonna hug me. You're not gonna hug me.
Black.
You gonna hug my wife like she need a hug? I need a hug.
I'm hugging her because she's married to you. Let me finish, and we can talk crazy when we go off this live.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, that's where we all go wrong right there. All right.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Yes, they do. So, Justin and Isaiah, love y'all so much. I'm proud of the men that you have grown to be. They have always been my heart. They really, really have. Jason and Ty, on the other hand, Godspeed to the both of you. I'm so grateful that you are, and in all seriousness, I'm really grateful for you all. I'm thankful that you all were willing to come on, and even the men before, and share your stories. And like I told you all, I wanted to make sure that I push, you know, as much positivity as I can. And that doesn't mean that we aren't going to have some real discussions, truly, because that in lines with your show, Ty, Millionaire Man Cave, as we discussed my question that I posed this week for you all. We don't always do everything right, and that's okay. And it really is okay, because this is how we learn. We're human beings. As women, we don't do everything okay. As men, you don't do everything okay. But I just want to tell you all for hanging in there. There are so many odds that are against you as men, and especially Black men. And so I'm grateful that I am connected to some phenomenal men in my life. And I just can't thank you all enough. So thank you, audience, for hanging in there with us. I know tonight was a little longer, but man, if people can talk 2 hours for talking, you know, slick about men, we can listen to you all for 2 hours and it'd be about some positive things. So love you all. Have a wonderful night.
Peace out. The boots.